The common NFL phrase is stack 'em up. The Chiefs go for win number 2 this week, but try to stack up another great defensive performance. On this Defending the Kingdom, we'll look into that defense with the Wizard of Spags. Plus, we'll have Mike Danna. It's all brought to you by Ticketmaster as Kansas City tries to get to 2-1. Hi again, everyone, and welcome to this edition of Defending the Kingdom. Yeah, we're going to try to stack it up this week and get another win. Mitch Holthus with you, the voice of the Chiefs, along with senior team reporter Matt McMullen. We're going to feature the defense in this episode, which has been one of the surprises of the NFL, and the Wizard of Spags, and a special treat because we'll have Mike Danna on later in this podcast. But before we do all that, and the podcast brought to you by your new best friends, and that's Ticketmaster, these incredible games are the best home schedule in the 64-year history of the franchise. Just get ready to go, folks, and get those tickets. But before we jump into the Wizard of Spags, let's go around the world. And how many do you have this week?
So I have 5 this week, once again. I'm trying to truncate it a bit. We'll get to everyone, I promise. But this way, we have a lot of football to talk about here. So I'll just 5 more this week.
Here's why I love why you pick 5 this week. Because 5 was the number of Patrick Mahomes at Texas Tech. He became a phenom, right, in West Texas, in Lubbock. But when he came to the Chiefs, drafted in 2017, he couldn't wear 5. Cairo Santos was the Chiefs kicker. He wore 5. Patrick took 15, and now the legend has grown. Santos will be here this week kicking for the Chicago Bears, but he wears number 8 now. So anyway, 5 is a very appropriate around-the-world number.
I wonder if Patrick's plan originally was to one day have 5, but when you're number 15 and you immediately throw for 50 touchdowns and 5,000 yards and everyone buys your jersey, it's like, I think you should just stick with 15. This is what you are now.
And the world is buying these jerseys. A lot of you listen around the world, as we have noted many times, and a lot of you have bought 15 Mahomes jerseys. Can't wait till we go to the Deutschland and see would it be Fufzane jerseys with Patrick Mahomes. But, yeah, it's a hot-selling item. Don't go to 5 now, Pat.
Yeah, I think he's 15 forever. All right, so around the world, I have Enrique is in Minnesota, but originally from Mexico City. We have a listener in Derby, Kansas. You ever been there?
Oh, the Panthers. It's a power, a 6A power, and they've produced many National Football League players. I've been to Derby, suburban Wichita. Good high school football.
We have a listener in Nashville, Tennessee. Love Nashville. Michael is in Altoona, Iowa. You heard of that place?
I have. Altoona, Iowa. It's on the eastern edge of the suburbs of Des Moines.
Okay.
Actually, the hometown of one Brad G.
Really?
Yes.
It's our vice president for communications here with the Chiefs.
Yep. He went to Southeast Polk High School. They call them the Rams because it's made up of different communities. Runnels, R, Altoona, A, M, Mitchellville, and then S is like Stephenville, but they left out Pleasant Hill. I go, you guys should be the Ramps. You're just going to leave out of town?
How dare they?
How dare they? You folks in Pleasant Hill, or Iowa, need to say it's the Ramps, and then have your helmet be like an on-ramp off an interstate.
Or like Colorado State,
Yeah.
Rams. I don't know.
Ramps.
Yeah. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, it should be that. Maybe like the horns could be a ramp. I don't know.
Just wrong.
Yeah. Lastly, we have Daniel in Springfield, Missouri, and then one more. We have Holly, who says that every time she goes to Hy-Vee from now on, she's going to imagine you like carrying a whole bunch of pickle jars and dropping all of them from last week's episode.
I've had some reaction to that. Some have thought, dude, don't buy pickles. Others have got, you're my hero now. But it was interesting because some executives of Hy-Vee who listen to every one of our Defending the Kingdoms. There is one, I'll just say, he's a great, great Chiefs fan, former cross-country runner at Shawnee Mission Northwest High School. But he has to go between Des Moines and Kansas City all the time. So he's just burning up I-35. He loves to listen to Defending the Kingdom. He goes, dude, dill pickles, clean up on aisle 2. So he was all about it. But, yes, dill pickles. And, in fact, this week, full disclosure, had to go to Hy-Vee. Yes, I got some dill pickles, but I didn't smash them.
You held on to them?
I did.
Good. Before I forget as well, we have a quick announcement to make, kind of like a tease of an announcement. So for those of you that watch our Defending the Kingdom shows or Field Pass or anything that we do, we're always wearing the new gear that's in the Pro Shop. And the amazing people in the Pro Shop hook us up with this stuff. We're going to have a promo code here soon that when you're listening to Defending the Kingdom or watching Field Pass or watching any of our stuff, we'll drop that promo code in for the week, and you can get 10% off in the Pro Shop on Chiefs gear. There's a few exclusions. We'll go over the details when it's actually live, but keep an eye out for that. We'll have a promo code soon. We're trying to help the people out.
And we do get comments, right? Like, where do I get that? How do I get that? And so that's exciting, actually, that people can get a discount using the promo code for you Kingdom Defenders, and we'll have folks around the world, I know, that'll order some. Well, get ready for week number 3, the Chiefs with a hard-fought victory. Let's just start there because, Matt, you and I knew this, and you were spotting for me in the booth. It was great to have you there. That win is really, I think, underrated by most fans of the Chiefs Kingdom. That was a very, very impactful victory. How the Chiefs did it, where they did it, and to win that game was huge.
It was gutsy. It was resilient. It wasn't easy. So I looked this one up on the plane. I believe the Chiefs are the first team since 2012 to win a game in which they scored no more than 17 points, had 12 or more penalties, and 3 or more turnovers. That's not usually a place you want to live, but the fact that the Chiefs won that game says a lot about who they are. And I remembered Patrick Mahomes' comments last week about how he wanted the Chiefs to go out and prove who they were to the world and even to themselves. And while the box score maybe doesn't indicate that, I think the way they played, the way they fought through adversity, the way they ended the first half and ended the game really proved who they were and shows that this is a championship caliber team who, even when things are not going well, things aren't going right for them, they don't care. They move on, and they find a way to win and to beat a really quality opponent who we think is going to be the division champion in the AFC South, a team that has high aspirations. So it says a lot about the character of this squad. A win is a win, and this could be one of those wins we look back on 10 weeks from now and say the Chiefs really defined who they were going to be this season based on how they played that game, because it would have been very easy for the Chiefs to lose that game, but they found a way to win it, and that says a lot about who they are.
Which is why we're going to focus this Defending the Kingdom on the defense. 2 weeks, they've only allowed 2 touchdowns. In this day and age of the NFL, that's unheard of, quite honestly. And it's a heck of an effort. The other thing, and this accentuates your point, the Jacksonville Jaguars had 1st and 10 after a sudden change at the Chiefs' 17. They had 1st and 10 at the 14. 1st and goal at the 1. These are 3 separate possessions and got no touchdowns, 0. That's a big-time effort against a good offensive team. And the stat, and we talked about this too, Trevor Lawrence was 0 for 7 in the red zone. We think that hasn't happened since 2007 with Brett Favre. And Trevor Lawrence is a really good quarterback because the Chiefs' defense on most of those 7 attempts had squeezed down the window so shut. It goes back to camp when Coach was talking about, like, what are you noticing about this defense? Because there was a lot of red zone stops by the defense, again, against Patrick Mahomes and St. Joseph. And Coach said those windows are tightening, and that is good to see from this defense.
All summer and even back into the spring, kind of the mantra from the defense, particularly the secondary, was that these guys feel so much more comfortable now that they can just move at full speed. They're not thinking too much. They're just playing. Steve Spagnuolo said numerous times that the defense, and particularly, once again, the secondary, was light years ahead of where they were this time last year. And we saw it in OTAs, and we saw it in training camp, just the growth from the Chiefs' young corners, the Chiefs' safeties. Even though Justin Reed is a veteran in this league, he's grouped into that as well because this is his 2nd year in the system. We felt good about all of that, but then to see it over the last 2 weeks has been super exciting. And the offense has been working through some stuff. We know that they're going to be just fine because it's an Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes-led offense. But for the defense to pick them up the way that they have, to keep them in the game and to keep giving them opportunities is what championship teams do. And what's amazing and so interesting is that if you ask any of the Chiefs defenders about this, they're not surprised by any of this because this is what they've been working toward.
And not also that they're arrogant. It's not an arrogant answer when
it's not arrogant. It's just like, this is what we expect from ourselves. And they're also not satisfied with it at all. George Karlaftis, during Wednesday's media, he was asked if he's been satisfied with how the defense has played, and he said, no, not even close. And they've been one of the best defenses in the NFL. So I'm excited to see how they continue to grow, but so far this defense has been just outstanding, and we can't take it for granted.
Karlaftis, excellent game. Chris Jones, I'm I was wrong. I'll just admit it here. I didn't think he would have that big of impact on this game, playing 34 snaps. Felix Enudike-Ozama gets his first half sack. He's played better every week ever since like mid-training camp. But the DBs here, and the two, as I reviewed the video, L'Jarius Sneed and most notably Trent McDuffie. McDuffie was on with me in the Chiefs Kingdom show on Monday night. He talked about the play he made that I thought was one of the plays of the game, where it was that sudden change. They got to run. You get them stopped, and we're right back out there. It's the fireman and the firewoman that goes to the fire station, and in 10 seconds you got to go right back out and fight the 5-alarm fire. He makes the play on playing the slot on Zay Jones, where he cut down the angle to get a hold there for the Chiefs. Trent McDuffie had a heck of a game, and so did L'Jarius Sneed. Now, full disclosure, I've got to ask you a question, because there are some movies that just stand the test of time. Did you watch The Wizard of Oz as a kid?
Of course I did.
Okay. Were you freaked out on the attack by the flying monkeys like in the poppy field?
I don't mean this to sound like things didn't scare me as a kid. I don't think I was necessarily scared by it. I was scared by other things, like, not to get off on a tangent, but do you remember the movie Signs?
Yes.
The aliens in the movie Signs kept me up for weeks. I hated that. So not so much the monkeys, but go right ahead. They are scary, though, yes.
The reason I bring it up is the fact that we are entitling this episode The Wizard of Spags, the Chiefs defensive coordinator. We didn't name this episode. Our guest coming up did. Mike Danna is the one who came up with this because he called Spags a wizard. But let's go back to that terrifying scene where it's an attack from the sky, and I'm thinking, what do we have to fight off the flying monkeys, right? Dorothy's tough, good, but they're double teaming her right away, right? So she can't get to the quarterback. We got the lion. Who knows what he's thinking? All he's doing is putting on social media how brave he is, and then he cowers when they come. The Tin Man missed training camp, so he's rusty. and the scarecrow, I don't know, dude. I don't know what we're going to do with you. But so it was an onslaught, right? Terrifying to me as a little kid, because I'd go to, like, you're looking around the whole time on the farm in Smith Center, like, where are the flying monkeys? And I need some more help. I need more help than just those three to help Dorothy. And Toto was good, but, I mean, Toto, there's a limit to what Toto could do.
Limited, yeah. Toto, no hands, so it's tough.
No hands, Toto.
Yeah.
Catch the ball. So anyway, terrifying scene. But what's not terrifying, in fact, what's encouraging, is to see what's going on with this defense. There's three base subjects in defense in the NFL. One is obviously scoring defense. Chiefs have been pretty good in that, really, with Steve Spagnuolo, the old bend but don't break, right? The other one is red zone defense. The Chiefs statistically have not been. Let me just throw this out there. They were next to last in red zone defense. The opponents getting touchdowns once they got inside the 20 in 2022. 15th in 21, last in 2020. Now, you overcome that with offense, right? And there's not a lot of red zone penetrations. But the Chiefs right now in red zone defense after 2 weeks are third in the league. That's awesome.
And think about when those red zone stops were in the Jacksonville game. So the first one was following the muffed punt, right? Early in the game. So Richie James muffs the punt. The Jags get the ball. They think they're going to score. And all of a sudden, momentum ball gets rolling. Jacksonville is going to have a nice day offensively. The Chiefs immediately shut the door. So that momentum kind of goes away. Sure, they got the takeaway, and they got a field goal, but does it really mean a whole lot if you couldn't cash in with a touchdown on that turnover? I think that was really big early in the game just to kind of set the tone for the defense. And the latter two red zone stops were in the fourth quarter. You already laid it out. One of those, the first one, the Jags had a 1st and goal at the 1-yard line. The second one, they had at the 14-yard line, I believe, a first down. They don't get a touchdown on either of those. The first one, they had to settle for a field goal. And whenever you drive all the way to the 1-yard line and settle for a field goal, you don't feel good about that. Sure, you got points. Yeah, you made it closer, but you don't feel good about it. And then the latter one, there was like 6-7 minutes left in the game. That was their last shot, basically. The Chiefs hold them out on 4th down of the end zone. They get no points. And then immediately after that, the Chiefs are able to run out the clock. Sky Moore has the huge catch on 3rd down, and that's the end of the game. The Jags don't get the ball back. So it's not just the red zone stops. It's when they happened and the circumstances around them, because the momentum of the game was really in the balance each time. Like if Jacksonville had scored, they could tie the game. Or let's say they tie the game on that first red zone trip in the fourth quarter. They could win the game on the second one. They're all important. And the Chiefs found ways consistently on defense to make sure that Jacksonville, A, could not score, and B, could not get momentum on their side. it must have been a very frustrating day for Jacksonville offensively because consistently the Chiefs found ways to stop the Jaguars whenever they had a semblance of momentum getting going.
And to me, the biggest one the first and goal at the 1, but the sudden change is so hard for I don't care what level. It could be Blue Valley North, Smith Center, Cal Davis, I don't know, Derby Panthers. You get a sudden change, especially inside the 20, and you get a stop there, that is a big deal. And it's something you can build on going into the Chicago week. Well, a guy that the Chiefs can build around, and let's just set this up here, Matt, because honestly, is he not one of the more underrated players defensively on this team? And
Absolutely.
Mike Danna?
Yeah. 100%. I mean, you think about the players on this defense, there's a lot to get a lot of credit, and deservingly so, but Mike Danna has been here now for 4 seasons. A former 5th-round pick out of Michigan, has consistently just owned his role and done different things for the Chiefs' defensive line. You can play him outside as an edge rusher. He can bounce inside as like a 3-tech. He can do so much for this defense. He's been so consistent and so reliable and only gotten better since he's been here. And as you all will see in the interview, really awesome guy as well.
And by the way, the third base subject of NFL defense is third down defense. The Chiefs right now are 7th in third down defense. They are 3rd in red zone defense and 4th in offensive points allowed. That's
pretty good.
On the honor roll for NFL defense after 2 weeks. But on the honor roll since he's been here, he came in the COVID year of 2020, and he has breaking news. Defending the Kingdom, breaking news. Here's Chiefs defensive end Mike Danna. Yeah, we've been talking defense on this edition of Defending the Kingdom. Why not? One of the hottest defenses right now in the NFL is right here in the Chiefs Kingdom, and one of the hottest players is with us now on Defending the Kingdom. So Matt and I welcome number 51 for his first ever appearance on Defending the Kingdom podcast. The first thing we're going to do, all right, Matt, because we are going to have the official announcement to the world. Because, Mike, tell us how to say your last name. Here, ladies and gentlemen, ta-da.
The last name is pronounced as Danna. Not Dana, it's Danna.
Danna.
Only took us 4 years to get here.
Danna. Mike Danna. We were Mike Danna.
Yes,
all right,
sir.
so there we go. Everybody, defenders around the world, you've got that down. Now we had it officially right here on DTK. Mike Danna, who's having a heck of a year to start. Matt, we'll jump into some football here.
Yeah, Mike, well, just want to talk about the first 2 weeks. The defense has been outstanding, particularly last week against Jacksonville. The Jags have 11 possessions in that game. They don't get a single touchdown. They get 9 total points, and that's a good offense. Just how good are you guys feeling right now through 2 games?
We feel good, man. We've been playing solid football, both sides of the ball, special teams. Everybody been contributing in their own ways. So the back end been doing a hell of a job. The front 7 been playing their tails off. People been stepping up when their numbers called. Everybody's just doing their job, doing their 111th. And it's exciting to see, all this started to unravel and because it all started in training camp. So being able to display that on Sundays and kind of, see where it takes us is going to be exciting.
Mike Danna, I want to ask you this because how big is it, and just to dovetail on Matt's question, is having the mentality of a defense of digging your heels in. Jacksonville had the ball at the 17, the 14, and the 1 with first downs, and they get 0 touchdowns. Being that good in the red zone and having a mentality of a defense if they ain't getting in.
Well, it just starts at practice, man. When we get to those situations, we want to win those situations, and we work on them at practice every single day. So when it gets to the game, it's easy, But the mentality is, we don't want them guys to score. We want to make it easy for the offense, get the ball back. All 11 guys showed up, man. Like you said, the ball was in the red zone 3 different times, and we were able to hold it down on defense and only get, field goals. So that's great, and that's great improvement from where we were at. But we got to continue to stack those games and, continue to make noise.
Mitch, a few weeks ago before the Lions game, my buddy texted me just before the game and asked, who do you think is going to have a big game on defense today? And I was like, I think Mike Danna's going to have a big game. And then he has a sack in the first half. And I'm like, I told you, Mike Danna. You're having a really nice year so far personally. A sack and a half, had a batted pass. Just how are you feeling individually so far through 2 weeks?
I feel great, man. It's great to have the D-line working as we are. It's great to have Chris back. We're all building up the chemistry. We're all gelling together. But all those plays come from just, working hard, rushing as one. So the job doesn't get done if I can't trust the guy to my left or my right. Those guys make the game easier for me. I make it easier for them, and it's all about the chemistry when we're out there. And when you see your one-on-one, you want to win your matchup because your guys are dependent on you.
Mike, on this podcast, we are emphasizing Professor Spagnuolo's class, okay? It is a hard class, right? But one of the cool things about it, and Matt and I watch every OTA. We watch every mini camp. We watch every training camp practice. To see you move inside and outside, like, where's Mike now? Ooh, he's in the 1 tech, right? He's a 3 tech. Oh, he's a 7 tech. Your ability to move around and how Spags use you in that regard.
Coach Spags is a wizard, man, and I think we know that by now. Is after his track record, and he uses me in a way where I play inside, play outside, may drop back a little sometimes. But it's all to create matchups, And I'm not even the only one who's the versatile. You got guys like Tershawn Wharton, Malik Herring, George. All of us move inside and out, and it's great to see that because we're not all just one-dimensional position players. We're not all just DNs or D tackle. We're both. And it's great when you got guys like that because you got a bunch of moving pieces. You can insert one guy because he knows the plays, and it's just great when you got a D-line that can do that because it makes the job easier for everybody.
You mentioned George. I want to ask you about him because he finished last year so strong. How have you seen him grow maybe over the summer and now into this season?
He's one of the hardest workers in the building, man. You see him grow up, and his football IQ starts to grow as a player. His details in practice, he's working on stuff before and after, working on his footwork, working on his hands. So improvement is no surprise because he works on it. He does it. He puts the time in. So when he goes out there and do it, it may be a surprise to everybody else, but to us, it's kind of like we expect that because he do it at practice.
Professor Spagnuolo, the Wizard of Spags. Okay, so that's what we've got. I think you've just called it now. Way to go, man. Appreciate it. Let's talk about opponent specific here a little bit because one thing I'm impressed with what Chicago can do is if they want to try to come downhill on you, they will try to do it. Not just Khalil Herbert, right, who I've respected, all throughout his career, but then Roschon, right? This is a player now. He just kind of got hidden because of John Robinson. But what about stopping the run and then how that sets up your pass rush?
Well, stopping the run is just as big as stopping the pass, or you can't even get to the pass until you stop the run. So, that's going to be one of our biggest focuses this year, containing Justin. He's a great quarterback. You got a great backfield. We got to be able to handle those guys and not let them extend plays or not let them run the ball all over us to open up offensive plays or passing downs. And, we got to handle the run, and we'll see where it takes us.
So I'm guessing the Super Bowl is your favorite memory as a Chief. So I'm going to put you on the spot here and narrow it down a bit. What's your favorite memory at GEHA Field at Arrowhead as a Chief? No pressure.
I'd say winning the AFC Championship before the Super Bowl, man. That was such a great time, man. Just all the energy building up to that game against the Bengals, it was just so much going on that week and the history before us or the previous games playing them. We fell short, but being able to have that one at home, then letting that one be the one to get us to the Super Bowl was just like, oh, man, it was remarkable.
I think it's mine, too. It was so epic.
Oh, man,
just
it was
for everyone
crazy.
involved.
It was crazy, man.
I didn't. You can doubt the Chiefs. You can dislike the Chiefs. You can dislike. It all came out, man. It was oozing out of my pores. Let's have some fun. I'm going to take you back even a little further, if you don't mind.
Okay.
Oh, okay. By the way, do you want me to be your pseudo agent for this one? Do you realize the Dairy Farmers of America have their headquarters in Kansas City?
Really?
Yeah, I'm going to set you up.
Yeah,
You want a bit of business deal here?
Get me right.
Well, here's why. Here's why. Let me take you back. Because you guys won state in high school. Did you come back from a broken leg? Yes. And you were drinking, what, a half gallon of milk a day? What were you doing, man? Taking like every bit of calcium you could find.
Every little bit, man. I was trying to get back on that field with senior year, man. So I was trying to, go out there and finish the ride with the guys, man. But pretty much during that injury, my broken leg, I did so much rehab, my dad made me drink so much milk because he said my bones was weak. He got to make them stronger. So you know what he did? He slapped a gallon of milk right in front of my face every day. And it's like, take it down. But it worked. I came back.
Did he chocolate milk, strawberry milk?
I'm a chocolate milk kind of guy.
Okay, so you went chocolate milk.
Went chocolate milk. Didn't go wrong with it.
It must have worked because the end result was
state champion.
There you go.
Thank you. Dairy Farmers of America. We just Matt, you and I just set up a deal.
There we
for
go.
Mike. Drink milk a gallon a day or a gallon every meal. So.
Mike, I've always wanted to ask you, speaking of before you got to the NFL, you had like an incredible season at Central Michigan, and you could have gone straight to the NFL after that, but you chose to transfer to Michigan for, was it your 5th year?
Yep.
Why'd you choose to do that instead of going straight to the NFL? Because to me, it said a lot about your character.
Really, one of the main reasons was I wanted to get my degree. That was a big thing to my parents, to my mother especially, because she works in the education department. So she always told me even before I did the college football, you're gonna get your degree if you go to college or when you go to college. So that's always been a goal of mine, to get the degree, get the diploma, to see the smile on their face, and really just having a chance of upping the level of competition and prove that I can roll with the big fellas. Going from the MAC to the Big Ten, from the Group of 5 to the Power 5, it's a level of competition difference, and being able to show or display your showcase or showcase your abilities on that platform in the Power 5, helps me. It was beneficial. I loved every bit of it. Ann Arbor was 45, 50 minutes from Detroit, so it was close to home also. My parents were able to, commute to the games, and I had a lot of family and close friends come. So, it was one of my best decisions.
It was cool that you challenged yourself when you didn't have to. Do you think that kind of helped you transition then into the NFL a year later?
I'm always looking for challenges in my life. The next challenge, you complete one challenge, you don't want to get complacent or satisfied. So you look for the next challenge, and that was one of the challenges I wanted to take up. A lot of people wanted me to, forego that last year and go to the draft, but I feel like I needed that 1 year to, like I said, showcase my ability on that platform, and I ended up here.
It's worked out.
It worked out.
And that 5th year was at
University of Michigan.
And Justin Fields quarterbacked at
Ohio State.
Oh, baby.
And it's Mike Danna, everybody. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Get ready for this one. What an outstanding dude. Not just a really good football player, but a great person.
Yeah, he's awesome. Like I said on the front end, he's someone who just has gotten better and better every single year. And we asked him about his decision to transfer to Michigan when he could have just gone straight to the draft after his huge season at Central Michigan. And to me, from the get-go, that said so much about him, because it would have been so easy to rest on these giant numbers at a MAC school and get drafted and not worry about going somewhere else. He doesn't feel like he has anything to prove. He didn't look at it that way. He wanted to challenge himself before he went to the NFL. And to go to Michigan, to go to a big school, to compete with other players for playing time, and to show that he belonged at that level before going to the NFL, said everything I needed to know about his character when I first learned about him. And that's why I think he's had so much success in the NFL as a player who's consistently gotten better and better every single year, because that's simply the way he's wired.
And he named this episode because you heard him say Spags is a wizard. And this is where Mike Danna being on this episode I think is particularly good, because Mike has the propensity, which is not easy to do, to play outside, inside. We talk about techniques, like a zero tech is right over the center. Mike can play a one tech, which is in the gap between the guard and center, or he can play 3, 5, and 7. And Spags moves him around. Spags will move Felix Anudike-Uzomah around. He'll move, when we get him back, Charles Amenahu around. And it confused Jacksonville in that game. You and I watched it all during the spring and summer. We see it in St. Joseph. You have to really track it if you're a fan, because Spags will have 1,000 things dialed up. But the fact that Mike Danna can do it, defend the run when you're inside, which you have to do, it's not all about getting sacks or pressures, is one thing is for Spags to try to dream up all this stuff. Yes, he's the wizard, but it's having guys able to do it. And right now, defensively, personnel-wise, ever since Spags has been here, I think he's closer. But this is the best group he's had to do all the stuff the Wizard wants.
Oh, yeah, I totally agree. We said that way back in OTAs, that this had a chance to be the best defense personnel-wise and talent-wise that we've had in the Patrick Mahomes era. And so far we're seeing it through 2 weeks, especially against Jacksonville, getting Chris Jones back, kind of adding what he does to the rest of the group. It's been so exciting and so encouraging about what this group can do over the rest of the season. There's so many young players on this defense, and for them to take big strides and leaps over the summer and to apply it now to the regular season has been really, really exciting stuff. And for guys like Mike, who have been here now for a while, and like I said earlier, they just find ways to get better and better every single season. It says a lot about who they are. It says a lot about the coaches here. And I'm just so encouraged about what this group can do over the next several months. That versatility point is a big one as well, because guys aren't pigeonholed into roles here, and it's really been that way with Spags' entire career. What all can you do? And when you're an opposing offense and you're looking at all these playmakers in the Chiefs defense right now, you don't quite know how to prepare because you don't know how they're going to approach you every single week. And that's why this group right now should have Chiefs fans very excited because, like I said earlier, when you have Patrick Mahomes and the offense that we do, and we know they'll get really rolling here as we progress, you know the Chiefs are going to score points. And if the Chiefs defense plays like this, it puts a lot of pressure on the other team because you have to try to find a way to keep up with Patrick Mahomes. And this Chiefs defense right now is playing like a defense that's not going to let anyone do that.
So how do you throw water on the wicked witch? And let's just close it out this way, because tying this defense into this a specific opponent. And did you notice how on Mike the fur went up when I talked about Michigan, Ohio State?
Oh, yeah.
Because he's very respectful towards Central Michigan, too. I love that. His time there, he loved his time there. And so it's not like he's dissing his time at CMU. But the Bears, Justin Fields last year had 1,125 yards rushing. Only two other quarterbacks are even in that discussion of that kind of year rushing the ball. And that's Michael Vick and Lamar Jackson. That's it. But it appears now the Bears are trying to make Fields more of a pocket passer. There's danger here. DJ Moore is a really good receiver, right? Cole Kmet's an emerging tight end. But to me, it is running the ball. With Khalil Herbert, used to play at Kansas, transferred to Virginia Tech, really good football player. Then Roschon Johnson, who was at Texas the same time as Bijan Robinson. How did they lose a game? Just give it to the big kids every time. But there's some challenges here for this Chiefs defense to try to continue this surge.
For sure, and I suspect we're going to see something different from Fields this week. Maybe I'm wrong, but
I'm with you. I think they go back to 2022 this week.
Yeah, because you laid it out. Last year he rushes for over 1,000 yards from the quarterback position. He had 73 designed runs for himself last season. I believe only Jalen Hurts had more. He had 470 yards on those designed runs, and then on runs that weren't designed, just scrambles, had over 500 yards rushing. Just a really dynamic, electric player with the ball in his hands. They're trying to make him more of a pocket passer, like you said, and so far they've just struggled to kind of find that balance. He's been sacked 10 times this year. Only C.J. Stroud of the Texans has been sacked more times. And I think if you're the Bears trying to get into a rhythm offensively, because so far they've been outscored 65-37 through the first 2 weeks, I really think we're going to see a lot more of Fields the runner in this game. And the Chiefs have to be prepared for it. Now, fortunately, we've talked about how much we love the personnel on this defense. They're also really athletic, and I think designed to stop runners like Justin Fields. But he'll be a challenge, no doubt. It's easy to look at the Bears and say they're 0-2, they've struggled. It's going to be hard because certainly this Bears team has their back up against the wall. They're trying to prove that they are not what they've shown through the first 2 weeks. And like you and I believe, they have more talent than their record indicates. So it'll be a challenge for the Chiefs, but they'll be equipped because I love the athletic personnel that we have on this defense.
And the Bears turning it over. That's 3 interceptions for Fields in 2 weeks. You mentioned all the sacks, but they've got runners, and he is still a talent, especially running the ball. So the Chiefs defense, can they stack it up another week and put 3 weeks together? We'll see what the Wizard of Spags has up his sleeve.